3 pounds of filet mignon tips, but 16 2-ounce medallions of filet mignon. So let's cut into one of these medallions and show you the inside. I mean, juicy, tender, and a hint of pink, just the way I love it.
Isn't that perfect? So these are 2 ounces, David. And what do we love about these? They come 4 to a pack. So each pack is an 8-ounce center cut filet. But what I love about these is, let's say the average person wants a petite filet. So now all you're gonna do is take 2 of those medallions. You know they're exactly 2 ounces, and there you have that petite filet. You wanna add to that, David? Which I know you would. How about a 6-ounce filet mignon? What is the difference? The difference is how you cook these. They're faster, they're easier, and for our foodie friends who are not really, good in the kitchen, this is great.
I recently, because I pushed on social, I know you all know, I had my driver's license renewed. I waited at the DMV, and since I was getting it renewed anyway, I went ahead and got my real ID, which the deadline's coming up. And when I got home that night for dinner, I treated myself to these fillets. They sent me a sample. And so I had the medallions, the filet medallions, and they were amazing. Now, I cooked mine in a skillet on top of the stove, and they were perfect.
That's all you need to do,
You can also cook them in the air fryer.
Yes.
In the oven.
Yes.
Or on the barbecue grill.
Yeah, Blackstone, too.
Or the griddle, yes.
The griddle, yeah. Oh, this.
I mean, talk about the tips on the griddle. That would be really yummy.
Well, you notice you get a really good crust, and that's what makes a good steak.
Did you say crust?
Yeah, crust that.
Oh, let's crust it up.
Oh, try one of those.
Let's put a little bit of seasoning on there to give it a little bit of that meat candy crust on the outside.
A little bit of pop. Look at that. So, David, a little bit about our filet mignons that I think are different than others is that we start with grass.
Talk slow.
We start with grass. And then...
These are grass-fed.
And then we finish with corn. What does the corn do? The corn gives you flavor, gives you marbling.
And it melts on your tongue.
Yes, it's the mouthfeel. Like, there's no other steak you can compare to this, right? It's so different. That's why I think people love this steak. Especially, my wife loves this. She won't eat anything else.
I know.
Expensive taste, right? And then my kids, they're starting to eat meat now. And this is a great intro to meat because of how it feels in your mouth.
All right, I have a lot of things written on my card. We're shipping this now. We're shipping 4/21. We're shipping 5/5, and that's in time for Memorial Day.
Okay.
And then there's an auto delivery every 90 days or 1 year. Now, one thing that Ralph has taught me over the years, as demand goes up for barbecuing, the prices go up too. So that's why auto delivery is great, because you lock in the today's special value price. Now, ordinarily, 5 pounds, the 16 2-ounce medallions and 3 pounds of the tenderloin tips would run you about $160.
Oof.
We are, for today and today only, at $99.58 and free ship. And if you want to keep that price the same, sign up for auto delivery every 90 days for 1 year.
Yeah, I heard that's popular. I heard people love that.
Yeah, well, I mean, why not?
Why not? Yeah.
It's a smart move.
And you don't have to go to the grocery store. I love having protein, high-end protein in my freezer.
I can eat all of this. This is all on my eating plan. When I watch YouTube a lot.
Okay, yeah.
And when I watch low-carb and low-sugar foods, they always talk about red meat. Red meat being a great source of iron, a great source of great flavor and mouthfeel without the carbohydrates.
Yes.
And that's why something like this is so great. I mean, come on.
Bam, there you go.
With that seasoning, I might have to have a little bit of that.
And because it's so lean, how's your belly feel?
So good.
It feels good. It's happy, I'm sure. But it also feels good because it's so lean. And by the way, with that 5 pounds, I did a little math. You can actually get like almost 2 or 3 months if you have like once a week. That's a lot, right?
That's a lot.
So let's start. You want to talk about the tips?
Let's do that. Now, this is what you're getting.
Oh, yeah.
Now, when you order, you get 16 of the 2-ounce medallions. You get 3 pounds of the tips, and it's all filet. This is not sort of like filet. This is not sirloin. This is filet mignon. Now, Chef Ralph will talk to us about where the filet comes from, where the beef tenderloin is located on the steer.
100%.
But these are all aged 28 days.
Yes.
And you're talking about either now for, let's see, where's my card? Here it is. 4/21 or 5/5. Auto delivery every 90 days for 1 year. Now, Chef Ralph is cutting up the little tips, but when I say little, I probably a misnomer, because these are all different sizes.
All different sizes.
And they're all generously sized.
Yeah, they range from like 1 to 2.5 ounces, as you see on my cutting board. Look at that. So why do we love the tips? Because they are super versatile, still filet mignon. So if the only steak you eat, because it's tender and lean, is filet mignon, now you can actually eat in so many different ways, whether it be tacos. How about this stew I have? Oh, you see?
I might just go in for this bite.
And you know what's fun about what you're doing, what I do in my family, is I will take a board like this, David, and I will make a mound of the tips. And then I hit it with some great extra virgin olive oil and then some seasoning.
What I've done before with the tips is I put them in a skillet with a little butter.
Oh, yeah.
And then just brown them that way, and they don't have to, they cook in a jiff.
Super
fast. And then you serve these with a green vegetable, and you got a meal.
Yeah, and when we're talking about cooking, David, and you noticed this when you were cooking, is they cook so fast that if you want them like medium rare or medium, take them out before you normally would take
get them off the
out.
heat because they're going to continue to cook even off the heat. That's called carryover cooking. Or as it rests, it still goes up in temperature. So get it off the heat and make sure it's out of the pan so it can rest and reabsorb the juices. And then you've got a beautiful meat for tacos, steak salad, or just eat it by itself. It's fine with a knife and a fork. I mean, you don't really need the knife. And then maybe a little sour cream, maybe a little extra cheese.
Oh, yeah. Hook me up there.
Yeah,
okay.
how about that?
Thank you. So, David, I have a couple great examples here.
Okay.
Let's talk about, now I know it's getting warm out, right? But some people...
Today was cold.
Today was cold. Today will be a stew day, okay? You're going to get those days.
You're never going to hear me turn it down.
So here's what we love about using the tips for stew. So generally a stew uses stew meat.
Rich, look at that gravy.
Isn't that beautiful?
Oh, it's lovely.
Now, again, stew meat takes sometimes 2 to 3 hours to break down and become tender.
Mom many times would put stew meat in a pressure cooker because she would buy inexpensive cuts that were tough as shoe leather. And then she put them in the pressure cooker and they come out like filet.
Yeah. Yeah, but when you
This is filet to start with.
When you start with filet, now you're talking about a 30-minute stew that is absolutely heavenly.
Maybe I'll just put
give another scoop, whoever.
full. Just one more. Yeah.
And then, David, we love our bolognese sauce. So again, another way to use the filet mignon, which is grab your KitchenAid. Grab about 5 or 6 at a time. You don't want to crowd it too much, and do a little pulse.
Yeah, and you're in their little 5-cup chopper.
Yeah, and look, we have here. Look at that consistency.
That's yummy. I mean, that's all filet.
That's all filet in there.
The meat that's in there, this normally ground beef, is now filet. I mean, if you're making filet bolognese, I'm eating. I'm right there with you. This is delightful. You serve that over pasta or you just have the sauce by itself, either way. Lots of Parmesan, make it rain, Daddy. This is fantastic. Please don't miss out on this. What we're talking about is a lot of filet. We're talking about 16 2-ounce medallions, 3 pounds of the tips. Now, the reason that they don't offer these every day is it takes a while to collect the tips because Chef Ralph will tell you that the filet trails off to a little tail on the end, and that's where the tips come from, yes?
Yeah, you want to go talk about that now? Or
Let's do only because I brought it up, and I think it's germane to what we're talking about here.
Okay.
This is what you're getting, 5 total pounds of filet. It's filet every day, 2 different types, ordinarily nearly $160 for everything between my hands. But today and today only, it's $99 and change. Now, Chef Ralph.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to press you into service.
Okay.
Because this is your training coming to bear.
Yes.
Let's talk about the medallions. Let's talk about the tips.
Okay, so right here is that tenderloin we were talking about. Now, tenderloin is on the cattle. There's not a lot of it. Like you say, it's very, very tender.
And it's just along for the ride.
Just along for the ride.
It's not, it doesn't perform a muscle duty.
So in the center, if we're lucky, David, we'll get maybe 2, 3 8-ounce center cut fillets. Now, something interesting happens on the tenderloin. It immediately starts to tail off. That's where we grab those 2-ounce medallions.
Right.
Maybe you get 4 if you're lucky.
And then it gets really small, and that's where you get the tips.
And this is where the tips are. You have the wing and the tail is where you get the tips from.
There you are.
It's still filet mignon.
It's all filet. This is all buttery, smooth, tender, delicious filet. Please don't be misled. Just because it's not the center cut, big honkin' baseball steaks that you buy at the grocery store for a lot of money, this is all filet. It all comes from the tenderloin. It's 5 pounds.
Yeah, and you know what's interesting when you're talking about the big center cut filet, you're cutting it anyways.
Yeah.
So here's what's great about it. If you have 4
This
of
is
these,
cut for you.
not to mention that if you have 4 on your plate and you start cutting that big filet, what's going to happen? A lot of the juices are coming out of that filet. This, you maintain the integrity of the filet 4 times.
And I like my beef with just a hint of pink.
Yes.
So what I do if I ever cook those big baseball steaks is I cut them, I butterfly them.
You butterfly them.
I butterfly them. I
already,
cut them.
It's already butterflied.
Yeah, this is already done. This is gonna cook in a jiff.
Yeah.
Now we've got Marcy waiting patiently on the phone.
Okay.
So as you add some little balsamic glaze to that delicious salad you're making, let's say hello to Marcy in New York. How are you, Marcy?
Hey, Marcy.
Oh my goodness, David! This is the first time I've ever got to talk while you're presenting.
Well, I am pleased and honored to meet you. It's a lovely pleasure to have you on the air with us.
Thank you. I actually have a question for Chef Ralph.
Please, of course.
Okay, go ahead.
Because the bolognese is what got me to put that in my cart and check out.
Okay.
Okay.
When he makes it, does it matter which one, the medallions or the tip?
No, not at all. I think, again, what you're doing is you're going to be pulsating in your KitchenAid or whatever you have.
Yeah, and your chopper.
Yeah, I would say the tips will be easier, or just cut the medallions in half because you want to be able to get that consistency of the meat. So I would say if you're using the medallions, cut it in half. And if you're using the tips, just put 4 or 5 in at a time. And then here's another trick for you, Marcy. If they're semi-frozen, not solid, but like half frozen, you'll get a better chop in your KitchenAid. Okay?
Yeah, it won't gum up the grinder as much. Yep.
Exactly.
Well, it won't gum up the insides if they're a little bit frozen.
Yeah.
Just a tad.
Yeah, just a little tip. Yeah.
Yeah, just a little tad.
Yeah.
So when you put them into defrost, take them out before they're completely defrosted, and then process them, and you're going to get a better grind.
Yeah, because I've ground meat before, but I've never made bolognese. So when he showed the bolognese, I was like, yeah, I got to buy those.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah. I mean, we do everything with it.
I mean,
chili.
you could make this with ground beef,
Yeah.
but why would you? Not when
Right,
you've got
right.
filet.
And also, Marcia, you're going to love the fact that these will be in your freezer in like maybe a month or 2 from now.
Yeah.
You'll be like, oh my gosh, I have 1 more left.
I have one bag.
I have 1 bag
I have 1
left.
pound of those tips left. I mean, you're going to open the freezer and the angel choir is going to start. I mean, hello. I mean, once
did
you
the auto
remember.
delivery.
Sorry?
I did the auto delivery.
Very smart.
Oh, good. So you'll keep a good thing coming for every 90 days for a year.
Yeah.
Yes, especially at that price.
Yeah, because you know what? That's going to happen to the cost of filet this summer. It's going to go up, up, up.
Yep.
Oh my God, it's probably up as of today.
Yeah, I mean, hello, right? So this is why everybody is grabbing their beef now while they can at a better price.
David, you're my favorite.
Well, I'm glad you're watching, Marcy. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to meet you, ma'am.
You have a good evening.
You do as well.
Bye, Marcy.
Bye-bye now.
Bye, Ralph.
And good luck with that
Bolognese.
bolognese. Invite us. We'll fire up the shopper and we'll be right over. Now, 1,000 of these are gone. Now, they come in 1 pound packages. Is that right?
Yeah, so these are the tips, okay? So this is 1 pound, about 16 to 18 tips.
And this is
Medallions.
the medallions, and you get 4 in a package.
4. So that's an 8-ounce fillet right there.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah. Defrost overnight in the refrigerator or, David, in cold water for about 40 minutes.
Yeah, leave the cold
Submerge
water
it.
running on top of it.
Yes.
I like to leave it running on top of it because then it defrosts faster. Resist the temptation to put warm water because that'll cook the meat.
Yes.
You don't want to do that.
Yeah.
What you want to do is use cool water. It will melt in no time. Trust. This is, and I'm the king of never remembering to put anything in the fridge till it thaw. So this is why that method is so foolproof. And look at those medallions.
Oh.
Juicy, tender, and they're like butter. When I cooked my filet medallions,
Yes.
I cooked them in a skillet with butter.
I think that's great.
I mean, butter on top of buttery steak.
That's
I mean, does it get better?
Steak loves butter, by the way.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. So, Marcy asked us a question.
Please.
About the use of medallions versus tips. What have you utilized the tips and the medallions for, in your opinion, that will maybe help everyone kind of have a little bit more clear?
Well, either one is fine in the bolognese, or if you're chopping up meat, for example. And Chef Ralph is exactly spot on. If you let them thaw just slightly and then grind them, you get a neater, nicer grind.
Right.
It's important when I have the tips, I've used them for everything from chili to steak salads. I've done all these kinds of things, and then I've also just put them in a skillet and cooked them, even the tips.
Right. Yeah. No, you're right.
It's so good, and that seasoning is out of this world. It's salt, pepper, garlic, and some secrets they won't tell me.
It's
But this is lovely stuff, and you get a packet, and the packet is resealable.
yeah. I mean,